So in real estate, you started with a house, but you've done all kinds of stuff, right? You were wholesaling for a while. You've owner
Fix and
financed
flipping.
on
Yep. Owner
homes, right? You've
finance.
flipped. You've done lease options. You've done all kinds of different things. I'm curious if you have a favorite, if you like them all, because some are a little more time intensive, and some of
Hmm.
them are a lot more capital intensive, and you protect your time. So I'm curious, like what your evolution there was, and what the sweet spot maybe for you became, and then let's dig into what you're doing today.
I love the lease option strategy where you put a lease in place with an option to purchase, because that was when I did my first deal. That's where I put a lease option tenant in there. It was actually, that first deal was awesome. I put renters in there first because I knew I was going to move in like 6 months later and live there with my wife. So we rented it out for a little bit, had some cash flow. Then we lived there at that first house for 2 years and then lease optioned it after that, because the tax code says, like if you live somewhere 2 out of 5 years, when you sell it, you pay no capital gain. So we were like, let's do that. So we did that for that first house and then put the lease option in place. And a lease option, like I said, it's literally a lease, a regular lease with a tenant, but then they have the option. They're the first person that has the option to buy that property when their credit gets good enough. And I like that too, because the guy that came in was aggressively trying to work on his credit. He was a teacher in the schools, and like, this was someone who couldn't get a normal loan. So I was like, he's going to get a house, be paying towards the property and being able to pay towards that down payment. And he's able to, see and build his credit as well too. So he did, he was super tenant. He paid me early and then 6 months later cashed me out. I'm like, I like this. I like this strategy a lot. It didn't usually work out like that though, because with the company I was with, we built a portfolio of about 100 lease option properties. So I got to see it on scale too. And only like 4 or 5 ever really cashed out of those, the options while I was there, because they'd start working on their credit, but then it would get bad again, or what, like they just go back and forth. And it's a long-term property at that time. But I still liked it because the people in there wouldn't have even had that opportunity without creative financing for them as well too. So I like long-term strategies. I like, buy real estate and wait, and, build that appreciation, build that, all the different aspects that real estate provide, the depreciation too, and like not paying as much in taxes. I like holding properties. I personally like the lease options, because if you put a lease option tenant in there, they usually, you can tell them, the way that you present it to them and position it with them is that you are actively working towards this house to become your home. So they don't just think about it as tenant and landlord now. They think about like, I want to make this house my home because they can't sell it to anyone else but me. So it puts a different type of mentality tenant inside the property as well too, and gives them a better, like then it's just the tenants and toilets. This person actually cares about the toilet when it's breaking, because they understand that this is going to be their property. So I would say that was a couple of the things that I like about that. And it's the long-term play. I built a little portfolio. So going towards that, like the other side of that, I built a little portfolio and I was able to sell it to start this business, to be able to move across the country, and provided, the freedom, the lifestyle, like that's where I got to see the actual lifestyle in effect too, of what real estate is really able to provide. And that's live where you want, work where you want, with whomever you want, and spend time with who you want to. That was a cool point of being able to say, this is what real estate has provided for me over the years.
Yeah, that's great. And really good point about, we do a lot of lease options, and we just call it pride of ownership. When
Yes.
someone has skin in the game for their own home, it's maintained better, the yard looks better, the upkeep is better, they fix stuff as it goes bad. You can even negotiate some of that in the lease, where if it's over a certain amount, then we as the landlord take care of it. If it's under a certain amount, you would just do it yourself. It's pretty easy. But I find that a lease option attracts a different type of tenant, and then you have typically you have more retention. And then on top of that, you have, let's say that someone doesn't make it, you have less rehab work to turn it for the next tenant.